Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to me. And I'm here, Leknath Gautam, one more time with my updates about different topics today, including the pandemic, the coronavirus, and the Democratic primary election that is kind of going on. But it is analysis about the candidates who has dropped out and endorsed Joe Biden. I'll talk about those politicians as well today. I'll give some kind of insight on those dropout and then endorsement as well. And so far, we know the United States has surpassed 12,000 plus cases of coronavirus and more than 225 cases of death. That's going in rapid pace, rapid speed, very rapidly, and the governments and the local government and the federal government is trying to uh, um, enforce some kind of laws and restrict people from gathering and then going out and all kind of stuff as well. New York, the governor of New York, Chris Cuomo, and the mayor of California also has declared uh, to people to stay at their home, uh, not to go out and in restaurants and all kind of stuff, but the emergency and then necessary shops will remain open, like medicals and hospitals and doctors' clinics and grocery stores will open, and the restaurants will be open for carry out and delivery. But rest of the business are closed for unlimited period of time. Means there is no certain time to open back up. So they are closed forever right now for until further notice. So it's kind of a lot of people are at home right now. They are quarantined at home, although they don't have viruses. Uh, Only to contain that they need to separate people from the gathering and all that. That's why they're trying to do that. Who has symptoms now? A lot of people may have symptoms, still they don't have equipment to test. That's very, very scary. As I already told yesterday as well, even if you have symptoms, they are referring you to stay home, not to go to the hospital. Instead, call the doctor. But if you try to call the doctors, if you try to call the hotline, the wait time is like crazy. It is forever. So uh, I don't know what is gonna happen in the coming future, but the rate of the impacted people, the affected people from the coronavirus is going up very rapidly. Uh, New York State also only New York State has more than 7,000 cases of coronavirus. Patients and hospitals are overwhelmed. There are no room for the people, so it is really getting scary. So everyone is requested by the federal government and the state government and local governments to stay home if possible. Maybe to other people or with other people as well. So this is not very ordinary situation. It is getting worse, and the governments around the country, around the world, are trying to contain it. Although China has recorded better results, but other countries are nowhere close to the solution yet. So this is the one thing, and then I'm trying to go to the little bit of politics today. Uh, Politics in some countries we used to think that, hey, look at the politics of United States. Always in our country back home we say These politicians are no good. American politicians are good. Other developed countries politicians are good. They have some kind of moral character. They stand on their issues. Working, they only care about themselves. They only care about themselves. What they want to sell out the people who support them. They only make those people ladder to go up. And when they go in a certain place, what they do is this: they abandon those people. They don't care about those issues, and then they only care about the future of their own, not the future of the people who they represented before. In Democratic primary, we always talk about the Democrats always talk about the morals of the Republican Party when they fall in line with the Donald Trump, because Donald Trump got everything he could, although he was not endorsed by any politicians, any big politicians in his election. Not even presidential election, he got support from all the Republicans. But everybody got in line afterward. He started threatening them in different ways. He got them in line, and now he has united the party, or we can say it is Trump's party. You know, everybody is in line with Trump. So, likewise, in a Democratic field, we are thinking that these politicians in Democratic field are better than Republicans, but they don't seem to be like that as well. Look, I have some candidates: Pete Buttigieg, Andrew Yang, and Tulsi Gabbard. The three candidates I'm counting on. Elizabeth Warren has not endorsed anybody, but she did endorse the candidate who is more close to her, who is closer to her agendas, closer to her issues, closer benefit of doubt to her, not endorsing him until he gets nomination from the Democratic primary, from the party itself. But some of the candidates, look, Pete Buttigieg, what he used to run for: anti-war. He always talk about fighting in Iraq and fighting in Afghanistan, and then what is the cost? Why we should not go to the war? What is the purpose of war, and why should not we go in the war? And he was for Medicare for all who wanted it, who wants it, Medicare for all. His lot of issues were more closer than Bernie Sanders, but eventually he didn't do that. He endorsed Joe Biden, and then he sold his supporters one way or the other. We can say he tricked them. He tricked the voters, saying that he was anti-war. He was war. Same person who was for the all these bailouts for the corporations and all that. So he stood for him instead. Another is Andrew Yang. We know Andrew Yang, how energetic he was, how many good ideas he has. He has good ideas like universal income, universal health care. He was so popular, although he did not very unpopular things as well, like impeachment of Donald Trump. He was speaking against it. We have to focus on work, not in impeachment. He dared to say something unpopular stuff as well. But that's why, and once the Joe Biden is the candidate from the Democratic Party, it is very natural to endorse him and support him, go for him, and campaign for him. He can do anything he wants. But now there are two candidates, although the path for Bernie Sanders is very narrow, but still there are two candidates. Why he would endorse Joe Biden, who stands opposite to his issues, opposite to his ideas, opposite to his ideology? It doesn't make any sense to me. At least it doesn't make sense to me. Another lady we just heard, Tulsi Gabbard, she is the only Hindu presidential candidate in this primary, and then she was against the war in army deployed in Iraq and 2 3 times. That's why she always says, "Oh, I know the pain of the army. I know the pain of the people. I know the pain of the family members of those armies." You know, and then she was always against the war, against the regime change in other countries. But when the time came, what she did, she dropped out of the race and endorsed Joe Biden, who stood for the war, who this establishment, democratic establishment, always wants to have some kind of excuses to go to the war. And she was always against those wars. We should not be a police to the world. We just have to keep our borders secured, and then we have to take care of the people, not fighting. We have to use the diplomatic way to supposed to perform. That's what her ideology was. But who she endorsed? Joe Biden. It doesn't make sense. So these politicians, I don't know how to trust somebody. They will stand for you. They will stand for your values. They will stand for your ideology. So they sell out themselves. I know there is a concern once the Joe Biden gets elected from the Democratic Party, you can endorse him. Yeah. Yeah, there is a Democratic and there is another Republican candidate. Do that. That is not a good moral character. That's not a good marriage. I'm not saying because I like Bernie Sanders, because even in the case of Joe Biden, if Amy Klobuchar endorses Bernie Sanders, what would I think? I would say the same thing. Hey, Joe Biden is closer to you, Bernie Sanders. So this kind of stuff is kind of irritating here. And for politicians all around the globe or everywhere, they are not honest to people. They are not honest at all. They just want to bring some kind of issues that catches the heart of people, and then use those leverage to go up, and then when they reach a place, and then they forget about it. That's not good. How can you trust a politician that does not stand what he believes, or if it's just a fake agendas they were trying to present in front of the people? They never believed that, maybe. But how do we know? Because how do we know they never believed, but they said, but they didn't do it. So this is a very, very, very bad situation. The trust on government, trust on politicians is going down all the way every time. And if something like this happens, it is hard to trust anybody. Tomorrow, somebody will come with the different ideas. You never know. Somebody comes with different ideas, and then people go behind them. But when they go a certain level and they abandon those ideas, and then they take different path, they just care about themselves. So that's a very bad situation as well, and we don't know what is going to happen in Democratic primary. I know most likely Joe Biden gonna win. I know he's better than Donald Trump, but the core question is these candidates who dropped out and endorsed Joe Biden. These are just not good, very good politicians. They didn't advise from, or what they think, what the other people, what the people who supported them, what they think about them. It doesn't look like this think too much about them. They just think about themselves for the future, for the post of their own, and all that stuff. So anyway, eventually, looks like if everything goes right, Joe Biden will be the nominee. It doesn't look like that's it for right now. And coronavirus is killing people all around the globe. Please be careful and don't forget to subscribe my channel. I'll be posting more videos, and then I'll be with you again. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening.